this is the show. We're going to tell you exactly how to bet on some games going today and some future bets along the way. We got a great show lined up. Jesse Schul is going to be joining us. He's got a prop bet for us. Well, not a prop bet, an actual total for us on the Purdue-Michigan State game. He's also going to tell us how to bet the Florida-Oklahoma game. And tomorrow night, the Four Nations Cup, the finals, Canada versus America. Jesse's going to tell you exactly how to bet that. After that, we got Paul Moti joining us from Bet Online. We're going to do a deep dive into the International Cricket Championship, the T50, 50 overs. It goes all day, 8 countries. He's going to tell you exactly who is going to win this tournament, a long shot that has a chance, and some bets for the first round. After that, we got Andy Lang. And, of course, we're going to end the show with the great Gianni The Greek. I'm Lawrence Presman. You're watching WagerTalk Today. This is, without question, the best daily sports betting show on the planet. Tons of actionable info coming your way. I am pumped. It's $5 Tuesdays. Bicep pump. Okay, bring it down, Prez. And why are you pumping your arms when Jesse Schul is here? The guy's a goddamn animal. How are you, Jesse?
We're breaking out the big guns on $5 Tuesday, Prez.
Yeah, big guns, dude. I saw you in your weightlifting leotards. You have way bigger guns and got guns than me. Jesse Schul joining us, everyone. Jesse, I'm excited about the Four Nations Cup. We're going to talk about that in a second, but today we've got some college basketball going. People want to put their hard-earned money down. They want to double it. 91% return. So let's give them that 91% return. You're going to take apart this Purdue-Michigan State game. You like the total. How do we bet it?
Yeah, this is a massive game in the Big Ten, Prez. And I sort of lean Michigan State. They're at home. It looks like a good spot for them. But you mentioned that return, and you're going to get a better return by betting on the total in this game rather than laying points and perhaps laying juice if you're interested in one of those money line plays. So that's what's got me looking at the total instead of the side. And big game. It's the time of year where teams are jockeying for position for the postseason. Every possession will be hard fought. No easy buckets. We got Michigan in first place in the Big Ten. Michigan State just a game back, and Purdue only 1.5 games back. Purdue comes in off back-to-back losses at Michigan and at home to Wisconsin. You look at the history between these two teams. Purdue has absolutely owned Sparty, winning 9 of the last 10 meetings. But I want to focus in on the last 3 at East Lansing. Final scores of 64-63 in 2023, 68-65 in 2022, and then 55-54 in 2021. Sparty's gone under in 16 of their 25 games overall this season. That's 64%. Sparty is excellent defensively, the 3rd best defensive team in the Big Ten, allowing 67.5 points per game. I think at home, they dictate the pace. They put their strong defense to work. Like I said, lean Sparty, but the better bet is on the under 148.5. If you shop around, 148 still a play for me.
Jesse Schul joining us, everyone. Jesse, one of our listeners, Arak Patel, writes, "Hey, Prez, has anyone ever said you look like the Auburn basketball coach? Rak Patel. You think old Jews look the same? Come on. With that said, go Bruce Pearl. I'll take that all day long. Are you kidding me? Although he's way more stylish than me. I mean, you guys go Google Bruce Pearl and check out some of his outfits.
Doesn't
Jesse,
Bruce Pearl have like 100 pounds on you as well?
Probably more than 100 pounds, Jesse. But you know what? Rak Patel thinks we look alike, and I'll take that. The guy Welcome, everybody, to WagerTalk Today. I'm Lawrence Presman. We got a show lined up for you all. Tons of betting information coming your way. If you've never stumbled upon this show, basically, we tell you exactly how to bet the games that are going today. This is one of the best, if not the very best, sports betting daily show on the planet. Today's guest, Jesse Schul. He's going to look at the Purdue-Michigan State game, the Florida-Oklahoma game, and we're going to take a dive into the Canada-USA Four Nations Cup finals that goes tomorrow. After that, we've got Paul Moti joining us. Paul is going to talk ICC, that's international cricket, one of the biggest tournaments in the world, starts today. Paul's going to tell us exactly how to bet this tournament and also give you some winners on the first round. Andy Lang after that with some prop bets. And, of course, we're going to end the show with the great Gianni The Greek. We did have technical difficulties this morning. It's all behind us now. Let's get on with it. Jesse Schul joining us live from Taiwan. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, but I'm in Thailand. That's a little bit more exciting than Taiwan.
Thailand it is. I had some red chicken curry last night and mango salad, so I did that to honor you. Thai food is my favorite food in the world. You're a lucky man to be able to eat it on a regular basis. With that said, let's get into some actionable betting information. Purdue tonight, they're playing Michigan. Michigan State, 20-5 on the season. 9-16 to the under. They're minus 3.5 against Purdue. The total here, 148.5. Jesse, how should the people listening to this show bet this game?
Well, it's that time of year, Prez. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty in college basketball, conference tournaments just around the corner. And I'm going to focus on the total in this game. This number looks a little inflated when you really examine the magnitude of this game. These are two of the top teams in the Big Ten. Michigan's in first place. You got Michigan State a game back and Purdue 1.5 games out of first. Purdue coming in off back-to-back losses. I kind of lean Michigan State here if I was going to take this side. But as I mentioned, I'm looking at the total. Purdue has owned Sparty over the recent seasons, winning 9 of the last 10 head-to-head meetings. But let's look at the last 3 games these teams played in East Lansing. A 64-63 game in 2023, 68-65 in 2022, and 55-54 in 2021. And then you're looking at this number of 148.5. Sparty is one of the better defensive teams in the Big Ten. They're only giving up 67.5 points per game. They're at home. I think this is a good spot for Michigan State. I think they'll dictate the pace. I think at this time of year, a Michigan State team that's gone under in 64% of their games this year, 16 of 25 games going under the total. I'll go under 148.5 in this game, Prez.
Jesse Schul likes the under in the Purdue-Michigan State game. Jesse, let's keep the show moving along. Oklahoma on the road. It's the 17th ranked team in the league, and they are plus 13.5 against the Florida team that just steamrolls everybody. Florida just won 4 straight, beat South Carolina 88-67. Before that, they won another game by close to 20. This team can steamroll anyone. They're number 2 in the country. How do you bet a game like this, Jesse, especially given that the 17th best team is such a massive dog?
Well, I guess you don't have to bet a game like this, but if you are going to bet this game, I'm with you, Prez. Florida should steamroll here. Oklahoma is an interesting case study, their first year in the SEC. They won 13 straight games. They were ranked number 12 in the country after going undefeated in non-conference play. During that span, they had 2 wins over ranked teams, one of them being the Michigan Wolverines that we just talked about in the Big Ten, the first place team in the Big Ten. Then they enter SEC play, and they just get steamrolled. 3 wins in 12 games in SEC play so far. And, it's a case study that sort of suggests the SEC is the number 1 conference in the country. You look at this Florida team, you look at their last 4 home wins. They win by 19, 21, 24, and 30. Florida's won 7 of their last 8 overall. And Oklahoma is coming off a devastating home loss in a game that was a very winnable game against LSU, setting them up for a letdown here on the road at Florida. Don't expect much pushback from Oklahoma here. I think Florida should roll, and I think the line of 13.5 is a little short.
Jesse Schul joining us, everyone. Jesse, it's $5 Tuesday. Before we get into the Canada-US finals tomorrow night, what do you have going with the clients?
So my $5 play today will be a 5% NBA play on Thursday's card. I was the number 1 NBA handicapper at WagerTalk in 2024, and I was 12-4, 75% with 5% NBA plays in 2024. So you want to grab that $5 play. I also got a college basketball play, a 4% play available for regular price.
There we go, Jesse Schul, everyone. Jesse, lots of people are talking about this game, which really shows what an impact Best on Best Hockey has made. We got David Havley. He writes, Prez, are you ready for the greatest country in the world to smack Canada again on Thursday? So I'd like to start right there, Jesse. Can you explain to me how Canada can smack Canada? I'm a little confused here, Jesse.
You know, one of the greatest takes on this tournament and the first game in the group stages between Canada and USA, prior to the game, I saw a lot of people saying whoever wins this game is setting themselves up to lose in the final because it's so difficult to beat a great team twice. And I think Canada is well set up to get their revenge here in the final. As a Canadian, if I was going to bet with my heart, I'd say take Canada. There's a few things working in their favor. John Cooper shuffled the lines a little bit, putting Crosby and McInnis back together. And then we got Cale Makar coming back, and then Charlie McAvoy out for the U.S. So my play on the side would be on Canada, but I'm going to actually look at the best bet being on the total. This tournament is still an NHL tournament. These are still NHL players, NHL rules. And we look at game 7s in the NHL, and you have to think the tournament final is this very similar to a game 7. 13 of the last 17 game 7s in the NHL playoffs have fallen short of the total of 5.5. We saw the defensive battle in the first matchup between these teams. I expect this game to be a hard-fought game, and whoever's holding a slim lead after 2 periods will just park the bus and try to win by 1 goal. I expect this to end 2-1, 3-2, 3-1. I don't expect to see more than 5 goals scored in this game, so we're going to go under the total of 5.5.
Yeah, and Jesse, I love that play. I think we're going to see a 3-2 final. So if you guys want to bet an actual score, I think it will be 3-2, and I wouldn't be surprised if Sidney Crosby gets it in overtime. It seems to be his thing. He is now 25-1 as the captain of Canada. He seems to step up at the right moments. So 3-2 in overtime. And Jesse, I feel like Canada is in a win-win situation. We own this American team. This American team goes to bed and has nightmares over Team Canada for years and years, decades and decades. And finally, the Americans win a meaningless round-robin game in a meaningless tournament, and everybody is woo, 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 woo. Well, let me tell you this. If Canada wins, same old boring shit. If America wins, way to go. Way to win a meaningless nothing tournament. Congratulations. We'll see you at the World Cup or the Olympics. Jesse Schul, everyone. I love having you on, my brother. Excited about your NBA season. Keep on rocking. Keep on rolling. Thanks for doing this. Jesse Schul, one of the best out there and a great follow on Twitter. Okay, guys. Before we get into the cricket portion of our show, if you guys like what you're hearing, take a second out of your day and hit that like button. Really, really appreciate that. It's super important as we move up the rankings in YouTube and continue to build this business. It is $5 Tuesday, guys. And if you're going to bet only one play tonight, my college basketball total is it. Yesterday, I pleaded with you guys to bet my college hoops. I begged you. I implored you. Some of you took advantage of my begging and went 2-0. Neither of my games were even close. They were all over well before the 5-minute mark in the first quarter. That's how good those picks were. I'm now on a 10-2 run in college basketball, a 10-2 run. I'm also on an 18-5 hoops total run. And my play tonight is a total. It is absolutely a stunning 4% play. It's only my third 4% play of the college basketball season. Last Tuesday, I released my second 4% college basketball play, and it won. So please, it's $5. Head over to WagerTalk. Take advantage of Customer Appreciation Day, $5 Tuesday, and get my college basketball. Okay, so the ICC trophy is going to be awarded in the next couple of weeks. This is a big deal for most of the world, not so much North America. But frankly, I don't care. All that matters to me is how do we find money? How do we make money? I can't stand the NBA. I think the NBA is the stupidest sport in the world. It's glorified Red Rover, and yet I bet it every night. I don't care if I like a sport. I don't care if I understand a sport. I don't even care if I can spell the word sport. All I care about is, are there money-making opportunities? And there are big money-making opportunities in cricket. The ICC Championship starts today. There are 3 different types of crickets out there. There's the original cricket, which is 5-day test matches. There is the 40-year-old cricket, which is 50 over, about an 8-hour game. And then there's the new form of cricket, which is T20, which are 20 overs. This competition is a 50-over competition. The games will last roughly 8 hours. It is actually spectacular to watch. And we have got one of the preeminent cricket experts on the planet, Paul Moti, senior odds maker at Bet Online, joining us, and a man that John Turturro wants to look like. How are you, Paul Moti? Yeah, dude, I'm really thrilled that you took time out of your day to join us. Look, especially for me, Paul, because I want to talk cricket. I watch cricket. I'm obsessed with cricket. I love all 3 forms of cricket. So for me, what a privilege that I get to discuss the sport with you. But let's start right off the bat and get some actionable information down. India is a massive favorite in this tournament at plus 165, and we understand why. I mean, this India team has been the best T50 team in the world for over 4 years now. They made it to the finals of the last championship, couldn't get it done. They are coming in angry, hungry. I think they've won 18 of 20 T50 matches, and they're plus 165. Let's start there. Is it worth taking India at plus 165?
But as you know, the cricket's very much driven by the toss. You know, if the team that wins the toss chooses whether to bat first or bat second, the conditions can change dramatically as the day goes on. And you referenced the World Cup, where they were runners-up. You know, they were outstanding, completely dominant up until the final. Then they lost the toss in the final to Australia, and that's what did for them. They really had no chance of defending that total in the afternoon because batting became so easy for Australia. And they are playing all their matches, because they won't travel to Pakistan, they're playing all their matches at Dubai. Now, on one level, that's an advantage. They get to play their matches at the same ground. But the thing about Dubai is I can't think of a ground in the world where the toss is more important, because you get a lot of dew in the evening and it makes the batting really easy. It makes it very difficult for spinners to grip the ball. If you look at T20 in Dubai, and they play there all the time, there is a massive advantage to the team batting second. So you know, India have got a great chance. Maybe they'll win the toss in those games and they'll just dominate the tournament. But if they lose any toss in a big game, in a knockout game, in the semi-final or final, then really they're going to be up against it. And in all honesty, the nature of cricket anyway, matches swing to and fro. You don't, you know, you could back them at plus 165 now. They can get to the final, and then 1 hour into the final, they'll be bigger than 165, you know, because they've had a bad start. Look for the value elsewhere, I think.
Yeah, and listen, Paul, I'd love to spend a lot of time explaining the nuances of cricket to the listeners and explaining why the toss is so important and how the pitch gets harder or softer and the ball bounces differently as the game goes on. But none of that really matters. All that matters ultimately is how do we make money. So let's start right off the bat with a long shot that I think has a realistic chance of winning this tournament, and that's Pakistan at plus 800. This Pakistan team, I mean, yeah, they struggled in the T20. I get it. But firstly, they are playing at home. Secondly, they're the third-ranked T50 team in the ICC. They've won 8 of their last 11 matches. They've won 5 straight, and they are plus 800. They've also already beat Australia, South Africa, and New Zealand. And obviously, they're going to want to beat India at plus 800. Do you like Pakistan? If not, do you have another long shot for us?
Yeah, I'm not keen on Pakistan. I was keen on them a month ago, 2 months ago, because of those wins in Australia and South Africa. But key to those wins was a player called Saeem Ayub, and he's injured. He was outstanding in that. He misses all this tournament. And their sort of talisman batsman, Babar Azam, he's been below form for a while. One of their key bowlers, Haris Rauf, is an injury doubt. I'm not really taken with the spinners that they've got. And New Zealand, they played New Zealand in some warm-up matches last week. New Zealand beat them comfortably twice. And that's the opening match. And I think whoever wins that will go into the semis alongside India. So I'm swerving that. I prefer, for an outright bet, to look at the other group, because here it's close. It's Australia, England, South Africa and Afghanistan. Now, for me, South Africa and Afghanistan are huge value. I think they're massively underestimated. There's a lot of reputation betting going on here. Because, first of all, you look at Australia, they've got a virtual second-string team out. Virtually their whole bowling attack is injured.
Yeah.
Out for one reason or another, so I can't have them. England, they have gone out in the betting and they have got a bit of pedigree, but they're a mess. They're a mess, absolutely. And I think that psychologically they're a mess. Like they've thrown away a lot of good situations recently. So for me, I think South Africa have got a fabulous chance. The only thing counts against them is that they've failed so many times in big tournaments. But I think this particular generation of South African players, it's the best they've ever had. I think they're second only to India in terms of their depth. They're already in the World Test Championship final coming up, which is a new peak for them. And they did that despite many, many injuries throughout the Test season. And I think they're a better one-day side. And, you know, I look at that batting lineup, Heinrich Klaassen, Tristan Stubbs, Ryan Rickleton, Ratty van der Dussen. These guys are superstars, and I think they can. I think it's going to be a lot of runs in this tournament, a lot of big totals, and I can't see anyone other than India who's more capable of getting to the 375, 400. So I like them, but I also like Afghanistan.
Plus 1600.
Yeah, they're always underestimated because they're newbies. But look at the last few tournaments; they're coming of age. In the World Cup, they were very good, and they only really didn't qualify for the semis because Australia pulled off a miracle against them. And then they reached the semis of the T20 World Cup. And now they're in this. I think this is their ideal format. You know, they're more or less at home playing in Asia. They haven't got any injury problems. First choice side. There's a bit of a doubt about the batting. It's not that strong, but it's quite deep. But I think regarding the bowling attack, I think it's arguably the best bowling attack in it. Right? Rashid Khan, best spinner in it. Fazal Hakfaruqi, superb pace bowler. Noor Ahmad, a good up-and-coming spinner. They've got a lot of good all-rounders. So I absolutely think they could upset the odds, and they're going to be good value when they play England and then against Australia. Whether they can win the tournament or not, it's a big ask, but I think they're the value.
Yeah, and it makes sense. Look, they're plus 1,800. They're playing in the same division as Australia, New England, and England. England's a mess. Australia, this is the youngest Australian team we've seen, and a team that is really preparing itself for the World Cup in 2 years. They're not taking this tournament as seriously as most. And this Afghanistan team, they've won 8 of their last 10 ODI series. So it makes sense. I'm going to give out a bet that is a minus 5,000. Now, I understand that a lot of people do not want to bet minus 5,000s. I don't know why. If you have a 99% chance of winning a minus 5,000 bet, you make it every single day of your life. Bangladesh to not make the finals at minus 5,000. Paul, tell me why I should not make this bet.
I'm not going to. I'm not going to put you off that. I mean, I think they're by far and away the weakest side in it. This isn't, they're not even, they're the 8th ranked side in this tournament. They're not the 8th best side in the world. I think the West Indies are better than them, and probably Sri Lanka are better than them, so they're probably 10th. In the last big 50 over event, they were terrible, only won 2 matches out of 9. And it would take quite something for them to come through that group with India and Pakistan and New Zealand. And then win the semi. I mean, you're talking about, I mean, I would want 3-4 to 1 just for them to win the semi, right? So then they've got to qualify out the group. It's highly unlikely. Yeah. I guess anything could happen. The only way it could really happen, I suppose, if they kept winning the toss and a few games they win, because they're not hopeless. I mean, they do win games. They did beat Pakistan in the Test earlier this year. They have pulled off upsets. But I think to pull off enough upsets to get to a final, I can't.
Yeah, and I know these guys are like, minus 5,000. What are you, crazy? Come on, man. Money is money. Okay, let's get into, we got Andy Lang still to come, as well as Gianni The Greek. You're watching Wager Talk today. Hit that like button, everyone. We're trying to make money for you guys. Okay, Paul, predictions and best bets for the first round of games. I hand the mic to you.
Okay, so the first match is Pakistan v New Zealand. We're going minus 140 Pakistan, plus 120 New Zealand. I am a New Zealand backer. I think that at best should be a 50-50 game, and I think they've got a lot of momentum, very reliable in big tournaments, New Zealand. So I'd definitely go with the outsider there. And as a prop in that bet, I like Kane Williamson to get over 33.5 runs. He's in excellent form, perfect format. I think that Karachi would be a very good batting track, so everything's set up for him. Match 2 is probably a mismatch, which is India v Bangladesh. The only bet I really like here, I like Shubman Gill to be top India batsman. He's opener. He averages 60. He just beat 60 in the last 3 games against England. And I think, especially if they bat second India, they'll win that match easily. And it might just boil down to him versus the other opener or the top 3 top batsmen. I'll go with him. Right. In the third match, which is Afghanistan-South Africa, tricky match, that one. I am going to go for Heinrich Clayton to be top South Africa batsman for plus 400. Reason being that he's the best batsman against spin in the world, and you're going to see a lot of spin from Afghanistan. Probably 30 out of 50 overs will be spin. So I think he's primed to go well. Also, this is his best format, 50 overs, when he gets a bit of time to settle in. And the fourth game is Australia v England. 2 old rivals. As I was saying, I'm not convinced by either of them. But what I do think is a play in that, a really good play, and this might be the best play of the first round, is big runs. It's at Lahore. Lahore is the best of the 4 venues in the competition for runs. And I think you're going to be looking at really 350 plus in the first innings.
Wow.
So I think you can get 590-ish for total runs in that. I think that will go overs. I think you'll get over 11.5 sixes. To add to that, I think they're both much better with the bat than they are with the ball. I mean, Australia's bowlers look very ordinary. England have got very powerful batsmen. They are capable of getting those big scores. And likewise, Australia's batting is a lot better than their bowling. The batting's fine, actually. That's not their problem. It's their lack of bowlers. So I think big scores in that game.
There we go. Paul Moti from Bet Online, odds maker over there. Really appreciate you doing this with us, Paul. A lot of people in the chat room are American, and we love America, second greatest country in the world. So I want they're literally writing in there, hey, Prez, let's stick to the mainstream sports. So let's give some perspective here, Paul. The 10th most watched sport in the world, the 10th most watched sport in the world. A viewership of 400 million people is NFL football. The 9th most watched sport in the world is basketball. The 7th most watched sport in the world is baseball. And so endeth the American sports. The first most watched sport in the world is soccer, 3.5 billion people, and number 2 is cricket. The number 2 most watched sport in the world. 400 million people watch the NFL, 2.5 billion watch cricket. So I would really appreciate you guys understanding your xenophobia is a little insane. Like, there is a world out there, and it doesn't just revolve around football and basketball. It revolves around money. Paul Moti came on here and gave out some actionable betting info that you guys can use. Paul, thank you for doing this. I want you back next week as this tournament continues. Anything else you have to say?
Just to back up what you're saying, I'm old enough to remember the 1994 Soccer World Cup in America. And everybody thought it was a joke, right? And that soccer, that will never take off in America. Look how big it is now, right? It's huge. You can't go around America without finding a pub showing English football, right? Cricket's taking off. We've got Major League Cricket in America. This is the 3rd season coming up of that. America did very well in the World Cup. Canada did okay in the World Cup. It's becoming a global game. And betting-wise, honestly, I've been a professional gambler for 30 years. And this is my main sport. This is the one. I picked it out because there's so many opportunities. There's so many angles, so many little bits of knowledge that you can apply.
Yeah, I agree. Paul, thank you, dude. I really appreciate your time doing this. We got a lot of show still, guys. Andy Lang joining us. Andy, I got to use the word xenophobia, a word I don't normally get to use. I really like that word, spelt with an X.
Yeah. Yeah, you break it, use it, put it in your vocabulary more often. It's like that the calendars that used to give you the real complicated words, and your goal was to try and use it in a sentence that day. You got yours done. I need a good word. Need a good word for today.
Clipagaius.
Okay.
Try if it has anything word into your analysis.
If it has anything to do with being cold, I could use it today. It's 0. It's 0 degrees where I am. I'll look that word up. Darts is Wednesday, people. I see you in the chat. Darts is Wednesdays.
So, Andy, you got a bet for us on cricket.
Yep, this will be real quick. Afghanistan over South Africa. Huge bowling edge. South Africa blows it all the time. Afghanistan's got one of the best bowlers around, and this is a massive bowling advantage. I think Paul did a great job breaking down the pitch and everything. So plus 170, can't pass that up.
And Paul came on here and also said, look, this Afghanistan team is underrated. Plus 1,800 to win it all. I'd throw a little something on that. Andy, we got some UFC going on. Nick Klein over Mansour Abdul Malik. This is a plus 550. Tell us.
Yeah, I've not done too bad on these pretty big long shots. So this line has just gotten out of control. So, all right, so let's start with Mansur Abdul Malik. Comes off a Contender Series, looks great, but man, did he beat up a pretty bad opponent. He goes and makes his UFC debut. He beats up Todorovic and gets the first round knockout halfway through the first round. Todorovic was attempting to wrestle him, and Malik was getting a little bit tired in that UFC debut. He wasn't pushed in his Contender Series debut, so he still had enough knockout power in round 2. This guy's never seen the third round, though. I have real questions about his cardio. Now we go to Nick Klein, who makes his UFC debut, his Contender Series debut on very, very short notice. And Prez, it was amazing. He was not ready to fight. He hadn't planned on fighting. He got the call. He said, "Yes, I'll fight." The ref says fight, and he runs over and surprises the guy, kicks him and grabs the guy's neck and doesn't let go, and the guy has to tap in like 30 seconds. Then Nick Klein does this amazing interview. It was so emotional. He's talking about his family. We see his daughter. The guy's magnetic. So now we get Nick Klein making his debut. Nick Klein is a wrestler and a grappler, and Malik is a very dangerous striker, but also a dangerous striker with questionable cardio. Nick Klein, this is a guy he's got that it factor, and I am fully prepared that he could get knocked out really, really quick by a superior striker. But if Nick Klein works the wrestling and works the grappling and gets Malik tired, he is going to win rounds 2 and 3, and don't be surprised if he pulls off a submission. This plus 550 is too good to not have a little bit of a sprinkle on. Again, if it loses, Nick Klein's probably getting knocked out. But don't be surprised if you bet Malik in your parlays and it gets to round 2 and 3, you're getting really
Andy Lang, I think we've lost him, but we do have his picks for us. He's got a plus 550 pick on Nick Klein, and he likes Afghanistan plus 170 over South Africa. Andy, are you still with us? That's a no. It's okay. We've had some technical difficulties today. We'll move on. But guys, it is $5 Tuesday. Andy has a play up tonight for only $5. Please head over to WagerTalk and take advantage of that. Oh, hey! There you are. So what is your $5 Tuesday play?
It's actually a darts play. We've got a really good darts play that is up. We'll talk about darts tomorrow. I'll give out a free play, but you can lock in that play. Prez, we turned a profit the first 2 nights at the Premier League. So we're 8 and 5 on those, and we're up like 39 units. So grab that $5 darts play. You can't beat it. And we'll be on to talk about a couple other free plays. And we'll also have our darts preview video up as well. So everything to get you ready for night 3 of the Premier League.
There we go. Andy Lang, outstanding stuff. And obviously he's winning in darts. Come on. Anyway, Dan De Silva, we'll get to your question in 2 minutes when we bring Gianni on. Russell Deck, how about some college baseball talk? I got none for you today. My humble apologies. And then a bunch of you guys, lots of love in the chat room, everybody. Listen, I hope you enjoyed the cricket segment. I did. I'm tickled pink that I get a chance to talk about that sport. It doesn't happen very often. And look, guys, I mean, Jesus, if it was like, November, we would not be discussing cricket. There's one sport going tonight. It's college basketball. We already had Jesse on the show. He gave out the under in Purdue and Michigan State. He likes Florida minus 13.5 against Oklahoma. And Gianni's going to give out a whole lot as well. It is $5 Tuesdays. A quick reminder, my play is must bet. Must bet for $5. Let's see. I'll tell you right now. I mean, let's see who's taking advantage of my $5 play already today. We got Max, Chad, Carl, David, Steven, Alan, Joel, Seth, Kevin, Brennan, John, Robert, Jared, so many of you guys. Lots of love. All of you guys. We're all going to win tonight. I'm excited. $5 for my college basketball total. I'm on a 10-2 run. Gianni, what are your thoughts, man? I mean, there's some people really appreciated the cricket information, and other people were like, why are we discussing this? Nobody's ever heard of sport.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out what to do with this SMCI stock. That's it. Anyway. I love the cricket information. Are you kidding me? Those obscure markets are the ones you find a lot of value in. Especially when you're betting against more or less a global market. Like, you're going to find some inefficiencies there for sure. And you have a specialist on, like the gentleman from Bet Online. How can you not want that information? I could care less whether about watching this or not. I gave out a College World Series bet yesterday that won. I didn't care what time it went off, what was going on, watching it or anything like that. Good information is good information, man. At the end of the day, that's all I'm looking for. Getting back to that good information, like SMCI, they put me in it the first week of February. It's doubled since then. I'm supposed to get out of it, but this is one that I think is just going to keep climbing. But I want to get some money because Solana, the way Solana is dropping way below its bull market support band now, there's some numbers that I have to put in some buy orders at. But anyway, let's get back to sports.
Let's stay there. So I'm going to give you some advice. Firstly, take your principal out. If you're questioning anything, just take the principal out, ride the profit, use that principal to buy your Solano or whatever. But more importantly, Gianni, I want to talk about instincts. And you're sitting there and you're undecided. Do I do A? Do I do B? Ask yourself the following question. And guys, this is something that is important in every decision you make in your life. Ask yourself if you are happy with your lot in life. If you are happy with your lot in life, go with your instincts. Go with your gut. Your gut and your instincts have allowed you to make the decisions that you needed to make to get to where you are happy with your lot in life. Gianni, I know you. We're good friends. You've done well in life. You're happy in life. You've achieved success in life. Go with your gut. Now, for the people who have not achieved what they aspired to achieve when they were 20 or 30 or 10 or whatever, don't go with your gut. Go with Gianni's gut. And that is a really, really important statement, because this concept of go with your gut is not this overriding conceptual thought. Most of the time, your gut will lead you in the wrong direction. So ask yourself, am I happy with what I have achieved in life? If you are, stick with your gut. If you're not, don't stick with your gut. So, Gianni, whatever you think is about to happen in that stock, stay true to that thought.
Well said. Thank you. I needed that this morning. Thank you. Yeah. It's a good problem to have, but I needed that.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So, Action Jackson, hashtag go with Gianni's gut. We'll run that for a while, okay? We should do a special promotion. Go with Gianni's gut. .com. Anyway, brother, people want to hear some college hoops. Give us what's going on out there.
I got a lot of it. I know people have been asking for player props in college basketball, and I said that the limits are so low up until March Madness and the actual tournament. You're really not going to get a lot of the bet syndicates getting involved. But I work with a group that just bets props, so I asked them if they could send me their college basketball props when they see some strong stuff that they got down on. So I'm going to share a little bit of that with you guys. But first, let's get to some sides. Start off at the top. 604, UConn minus the 8.5. 607, Northern Illinois plus the 20. 611, Central Michigan plus 5.5. 617, Oklahoma plus 15, plus 14. 626, TCU plus the 8.5. 631, Air Force plus 9.5. 635, Illinois plus 4.5. 643, South Carolina plus 3.5, plus 3. Added games, North Florida plus the 4. Don't have any totals for you today, but I do have 2 props in the Illinois-Wisconsin game. Illinois-Wisconsin. First up, Kasparis Jarasionis, I believe, under 19.5 points, up to minus 140. So they laid 120, 130, now 140 on under 19.5 points. And also on Stephen Kroll, Crowl, under half, a 3-point field goal made, again, up to minus 130 on that. So The 3-point field goals made is a half for him, and they bet under up to -130. So there's 2 player props in the same game, Illinois versus Wisconsin for you.
There we go. Gianni The Greek joining us. Now, Gianni, one of our listeners, Dan DeSelva, writes, question about Gianni's blackjack seminar. If he gets banned from playing and so do card counters, wouldn't anyone who does your seminar and uses your techniques get banned? Let me go first here. I hope so. Wouldn't that be nice? I hope that every single person that learns your blackjack techniques gets banned. Every one of them. I want 100% ban. Do you know why, Gianni? Because on the way to being banned, we made a whole lot of money. So, yeah, wear that with a badge of honor, people. Nothing is better than getting banned from a casino. Gianni, what's your response to that?
The first time that happened to me, you're absolutely right. I walked out of there the happiest man you could ever imagine. I said, here's a guy who came here with $600 in his pocket, raised in a row house with 2 parents that didn't even speak English. And here's a casino with billions of dollars behind them, publicly traded, and they're afraid of me playing $25 tables? Are you kidding me? I could crush this game. So it gave me the confidence. But here's the next part of this. I will teach them the mistakes that I learned that actually got me banned. That's the key. I learned so much on what not to do. And I'm going to share with you just a simple technique right here. When you have a 16 versus the dealer's 10, okay, here's what you're supposed to do. Everybody says you hit that, right? 16 versus 10, you hit that. Well, if you're a card counter, that's not as easy of a choice, because if you're at a certain negative count, you're supposed to hit it. If you're at a hot positive count, you're not supposed to hit it, because you're expecting there to be more 10s in the deck of what they're holding. So here's what I learned to do. I will always stand on my 16 against the 10, because I'm giving up almost zero equity. The decision is negligible at best. A 0.05% is what you'll gain by deviating from basic strategy based on the count. But the reason I will teach my guys to stand every time is because when they have their biggest bets out on the table, they will have so because the count's high. So when the count's real high, that's when your biggest bets will be out there on the table. And that's when you're going to want to stand on the 16 versus the 10. So when they're watching you on the eye in the sky and the count's at a low negative where the deviation says to hit and you don't hit because you stand on every 16, you're going to throw them right off. They're going to look at the next tables, because they're going to say, this dude isn't counting. If he's got a -11, why isn't he hitting? He knows there's so many low cards compared to high cards. He's got a 16. He knows there's a ton of 5s, 4s, 3s that are going to help him. Why isn't he hitting that? Why am I not hitting that? Because when I have my 10x bet out there and that's a 16 versus 10, I'm not supposed to hit it. That's the deviation. So that I learned so much on how to throw them off the set, giving up very little edge. Trust me when I tell you, if there's one thing that you could put anyone across the table from me when it comes to blackjack, they're really not going to tell me much I don't know. That much I can promise you. I've gone through the ringer with that over a decade at playing at the highest levels with teams, solo. So trust me, I will teach you what not to do. Eventually, you're going to get banned. Someone's going to, eye in the sky is going to pick you off because you're going to be winning. But I'm going to give you as much cover as possible and teach you how to let that happen for you.
Gianni, I dealt blackjack for a couple of years when I was really young. And, man, you're standing there dealing and you learn so much as a dealer. And to me, I never take a card on 16 against a 10 ever. And so I'm with you there. I love that. And I guess you talk about splitting in your seminars and you talk about doubling down. And
Yep, exactly. When all of that. Honestly, Prez, I am so excited to be doing this. The guys that are going to learn this and actually practice it, they're lethal, dude. They will know. They can walk in any casino and bust them up. As long as they have the bankroll and manage risk correctly, again, there's nothing the casino is going to be able to do except kick you out. And I'm going to teach you how to have longevity so that doesn't happen to you as quickly as it happened to me. Believe me, I won a lot of money before that happened to me. And more importantly, I still won money after that happened to me. So I'll learn how to let your longevity last a lot longer than mine. Just like when it comes to sports betting, it took me a long time to learn how to make money with good information. So I help teach my guys in the steam room how to bet size correctly, because my losses was the education, was the price of the education. I lost for you so you don't have to. That's how I look at it.
I got one blackjack question. It's one of those questions that, everybody has a different opinion on. Do you split tens against a six?
If the counts above a +4, you're supposed to do it. But that's another one that's going to get you banned right away. That unless you're acting drunk and crazy, like I'm going to teach them, order a drink with a lime in it so it looks like you're drinking, and order some drinks, go to the bathroom and dump it so it looks like you're drinking and you're acting like you're having fun. I've done that before with my girl there and had her, when I give her a certain sign and she's like, do it, don't be a pussy, split those. And I've done it because the count was so high, it warranted it. But that is a red flag up high. The dealer will even call out splitting tens. They'll even call that out to the pit boss. So he looks, why is this guy splitting tens? And if you act like you're just nuts and that's why you're doing it, you probably get away with it. But if you're card counting and do it, you're getting tossed after a couple more hands.
Dude, I want to just join the seminar now. I got a million questions, but we're going to stop. You got a seminar. So when is it? Tell us about it, and then we'll start winding the show down.
Thank you to the generosity of WagerTalk. They allowed me to use the platform that I thought was best for this seminar. So they went out there and paid for it instead of doing it on where I do the steam room, because I love that. And we're doing our beta testing throughout this week. And I should be able to announce dates and times the following week, brother. So before the end of February, we should have our first class, or at the very latest, the first week of March. The classes will begin, and I promise you, you will get your money's worth. I paid 5 dimes for what I'm going to teach. I promise you, it's the exact same seminar. The only difference is you're not going to leave there with a shoe and a felt and a couple decks of cards and rubber bands like they gave me that you could easily get on Amazon for less than $50.
Yeah. No swag at the seminar.
No.
It's $5 Tuesday, Gianni. I mentioned that I got a total up tonight. I'm rolling, dude. We've spoken about this every day. And how many by Gianni, by me, we're both gonna roll. I went 2-0 last night. 5-1, 10-2 college basketball run. So I am.
And you were right. You were right on Northern Iowa. You were right on Northern Iowa. And there was wise guys on the opposite side of that on the Murray State up to 2. I bet it for a group that I was working with. I don't know if I gave it out on here, if we bet it early enough, but that was a good bet, man. A good bet.
Thank you, my brother. Lots of love. What do you got going for $5 Tuesday?
I got already released 2 bets today early that I love that they came in on, and one of them warranted a 4%. I put that out there for $5. Up over 20 plus units, over 6% ROI in college basketball in 2025. Prime time heading into March Madness, and I like this bet tonight. I'm on an island, put it that way.
Good luck, brother. What a show, everybody. Are you kidding me? I had a freaking blast. Shout out to Jesse Schul. Shout out to Paul Modi for some cricket talk. Andy Lang and Gianni the Greek. Kelly Stewart, the wonderful and talented Kelly Stewart, will be hosting tomorrow's show. She'll be hosting every Wednesday throughout the summer. Tomorrow's show will feature Nick Borman, talk about the Mexico Open. It's golf time as well. Andy Lang, Kevin Dolan will be joining Kelly to discuss boxing. Some big fights coming this weekend. And of course, like always, the show will end with the great Gianni the Greek. I will see you on Thursday. Lots of love, everybody. Thanks for watching, and I hope we win every bet we make.